Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're ready today to see some yummy food. I wanted to bring you my chicken burrito enchilada style recipe, also known as a wet burrito. And I had some bananas that needed to be used, so I decided to make not traditional banana bread, but chocolate chip banana bread. These are both super easy and they're delicious, and I think it's something your family would love. So I hope you join me in watching this video. If you have not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified every time I download a video. So we are starting here. I'm going to show you the ingredients. I decided to start with the banana bread, and these are all the different ingredients that the banana bread calls for. I have a secret little ingredient that I'm going to throw into my banana bread, and there it is. Can you guess what that is? No, it's not soy sauce. Just kidding. I have my hand mixer ready, and you will see I decide at one point to not use the mixer because it decided to spray all over my kitchen. So the bananas are typically pre-mashed. I did not pre-mash mine. I just broke them into pieces, and it was 3 large bananas that were very, very ripe. So this is the flour, and as you can see, I have a dark cocoa and a regular cocoa. I like to mix it for that extra rich dark flavor, so I keep both of those on hand. I use a teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of the sea salt. Now I'm going to take my whisk, Pioneer Woman, I love it, and I'm just going to whisk this together until it's nice and mixed. And I'm mixing this before I realize that I forgot that I put my salt and my baking soda in a little dish on the side. You will see me find that a little bit later. But just continue to whisk this until it's nice and mixed up. I guess you kind of need to know the measurements of the cocoa and the flour, since I forgot to say that. It is 1 cup of flour. I used 1.25 cups because I'm adding that extra liquid to it, and 3/4 cup of cocoa. Okay, so I'm using a medium-sized glass bowl. I would recommend a large bowl. This one was a bit short for what I was doing, but I did make it work. So these are how ripe my bananas were. I was just showing you. I'm using 3 large bananas. Well, actually, I used 2 small, and I think I used 1 or 2 larges. But you get the hint, right? This is a 1/4 cup of coconut oil and a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. So basically, it's half a cube of butter, as I show you here. And I'm going to melt those down in the microwave just so that they're completely melted, but not overly hot. Go ahead and pour those in with your bananas. And here's where the fun begins. I even edited some of it out so you guys didn't have to see. So I decided I'm gonna use my mixer, right? Oh yeah. It goes everywhere. So I have this mixer that, like, the lowest speed is kind of like medium speed on a normal one. So bananas went flying everywhere. So I decided just to take a fork and blend and mash the bananas with the oil and the butter. It was a much neater process. So if you have a mixer that will go on really low, that's great. Mine did not want to do that. So this was the better alternative. So once that's mashed, you're going to add your light brown sugar. This, I use kind of a heaping 3/4 cup, so maybe closer to a cup, but I wanted to put a little bit of extra in there. So that's my Pioneer Woman measuring cup, and it is a 3/4 cup measurer. I went ahead and added 1 egg at room temp and 1 egg white. And then this is my homemade vanilla that I made last year. It's a bourbon vanilla extract. I'm at the end of it. I probably should make some more. I just eye it. It says a teaspoon. I say 2 teaspoons. I just kind of pour a little bit in there. To me, vanilla's amazing, so you don't have to worry about that. But and now I'm going to attempt the mixer again on the lowest speed that I have. As you can see, it is probably a little bit of a higher speed, and I have a little bit of better luck this time. And I just keep the mixers towards the bottom of the bowl so that I don't have stuff going everywhere. So you want to blend that really, really well. I hope you're enjoying this video so far, and I do hope that if you are not yet a subscriber, that you subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. It helps my channel to grow. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here. And we are going to continue mixing this until it's blended enough. I did it about a minute, I believe. So here's where I discovered that I did not add the salt and the baking soda to my mixture. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place that into the bowl, and then I'll use my whisk again and whisk it in there because it was supposed to be done to begin with. And then we are slowly going to add this to the liquid banana mixture, and I do a half the bowl mix and then the rest. So go ahead and throw that in there. Now I'm going to show you my secret ingredient, that little one that you saw in the picture, and I'm sure most of you knew what it was. It is coffee. So I just took about a quarter to a third cup of coffee. A quarter is probably fine, but what coffee does is it enhances the chocolate flavor in your dessert or your bread. You can see that I got some powder flying around, but it did all manage to stay in the bowl. But yes, the coffee enhances the flavor of the chocolate. And so typically when I make a chocolate cake or I make anything that is like a chocolate base, I usually will add granules of coffee, not like regular coffee, but like an instant coffee or espresso instant coffee. Or I will just take our coffee from that morning that we didn't drink and I'll pour it in, and it just really, really makes a nice chocolate flavor in what you're making. Once you get the second half in with the coffee and the flour mixture, you just want to go ahead and blend it until well mixed. Don't over mix it. I find you get a better consistency, moister cake or bread if you don't over mix it. So just mix it until blended, and that's it. And then after that, we're going to plop it into a pan, and it's going to be ready to go in that preheated oven. I think I forgot to tell you that, didn't I? Make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees. So I apologize for putting that so late in the video. But yes, 350 degrees is what you want your oven at. Here's where I added the chocolate chips. Now I use the mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. I just like those better in a bread. I don't like to get big chunks of chocolate. But if you're someone who likes the bigger chunks, or all you have is the regular size chocolate chips on hand, those will work as well. I don't think you need a full bag. I would say if it's the mini chips like mine, I'd say a quarter to a half of a bag. And then if you're using regular size chocolate chips, I would say a half a bag. But if you want extra chocolate chips, go ahead and throw those in there. You can also mix it up a bit with chocolate and white chocolate, or put any kind of chip flavor you like in there. But I just use, like I said, the little mini chocolate chips. And then I have this bread pan. Don't you love it? I bought it and forgot I had it. And then I use Baker's Joy. I like to use the spray grease that has the flour already in it. So you want to go ahead and coat your pan in your grease. Now, if you do not have spray grease, you can use butter and flour, or you can use shortening and flour. So whatever you choose, but this is just the method I like. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pour that mixture into the bread pan and get ready to put it in the oven. And in the oven, it is going, and you want to cook this anywhere between 45 and 55 minutes. I always set mine at 40 minutes and then start checking it from there. This one did take 50 minutes, so it's completely depends on how your oven works. So now I am making the icing for the top of the cake. Now this is something you do not have to do. I chose to put an icing on the top to make it more like a dessert than a bread. You can leave it just the way it is and eat it with butter on it, or just eat it plain. You can also sprinkle just powdered sugar on it. The options are endless, but I decided to make an icing to go over the top. So I'm using powdered sugar, and I have 1 tablespoon of butter that I melt. I have my vanilla extract, and then I have some heavy whipping cream. Now, I did not measure this, so I'm not much help when it comes to that. Let's just say I used about 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup of the powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon of the melted unsalted butter. You could add salted in this if you wanted to kind of throw off the sweetness. That's what I find, but I did not do that. And then I use a couple drops, I'd say probably a teaspoon or so of my vanilla extract. Yes, I have another cute Pioneer Woman whisk because, like I said, I love her stuff. And then you want to kind of just eye your heavy cream because you don't want too much, so you kind of just put a little bit at a time. You can see I just drizzle that in there. And then when I go to mix, wait until you're really mixing, because sometimes it'll start to loosen up, but I know that the consistency I want is for it to be not runny but not stiff either. So just keep mixing, and then I find obviously that I need a little bit more cream, and so you just keep adding little bits at a time and mixing it until you have the consistency that you desire. Some options you can use instead of the heavy cream. I have used orange juice before to make it a little bit of an orangey flavor. So that's another good add-in. You could add coffee if you wanted it to be more of a coffee flavor. You would just take out whatever liquid you're using. You can also add orange zest, lemon zest, lime zest, anything you want. This is the perfect consistency for me. As you can see, it's like liquidy, but it's not super thin and it's not super thick. So that's perfect. This just came out of the oven and it is beautiful. Let me just tell you how good my kitchen smells. And so we're getting ready. I let it cool for about 10 minutes and then I go ahead and I plop it onto a plate. And it should come right out. That stuff seems to be magic. It does. It works great. And so then I'm going to flip it over onto the plate, and then we're going to start putting the yummy stuff on top. Now, this is where you can either leave it plain or add powdered sugar or whatever you desire. You could even add cream cheese frosting if you want to make it more like a cake. Totally whatever your preference is. This time I chose to do this glaze. So I'm pouring the glaze on top just to make it pretty. And I just now you could just leave it like this where it's just like the little swirly pattern, but I probably think I would have left it like this instead of what I did. I wish I wouldn't have mixed it all over. Like I take a knife and smooth it all over the top. I think I like it better just being the drizzle like this, but I didn't really realize that until I started doing my voiceover, and I'm looking at it going, I think that that's much prettier. Now the cake is, or the bread, I keep saying cake, is still warm. So as you can see, the icing is kind of drizzling over the sides, and that's what I like. So again, I would have left it like this, but instead I go ahead and I get a spreading knife and I go ahead and I spread that glaze all over. Now, honestly, I think it's perfect like this, and then I decide to put unsweetened cocoa over the top, and that's where I think it went wrong. This is my unsweetened cocoa. Oh, that's in a Dollar Tree little shaker. I love these little mason jar shakers at the Dollar Tree. You can leave it like this, then I choose to put chocolate chips on top. Now, what would you do? Would you leave it without icing? Would you do it with powdered sugar? Or would you do it the way I did it? Or I don't know. I'm just curious. How would you do it? I was trying to make it look pretty, but taste good at the same time. And so I thought that the unsweetened cocoa would throw off some of the sweetness of the icing. So that's why I did it that way. And then, of course, I wanted to decorate it with little mini chocolate chips all over the top. And here it is. This is my chocolate chip banana bread. And it is definitely delicious and something that I think your family will love. And it wouldn't be a video if I didn't take a slice, right? So I slice the bread so that you can see the inside of it. And I see the little melted chocolate chips in there. It's really, really moist. And oh my gosh, I can tell you one thing. I ate the end piece and it was delicious. Definitely something that is more of a dessert type thing. But hey, I mean, Costco sells chocolate chip muffins or chocolate chip muffins for breakfast, so we can have chocolate chip bread for breakfast. And then of course I have it paired with my Mojo coffee that I drink, and it is just like the perfect way to start my day. So let's move on to dinner. I made chicken burritos, enchilada style, also known as a wet burrito. And I have my shredded chicken, my tortillas. I have the low carb tortillas, 2 cans of chicken, cream of chicken soup, sour cream, shredded cheese, and I have a jar of green enchilada sauce. Now, it was in a can, but I had it left over from another meal, so I just put it into a mason jar to keep it good, and just had that left over in the fridge. So that's what determined what the dinner was for the night. The shredded chicken I made a couple of days ago, and I actually took it from another video that I watched. It's Jordan Danielle, aka Joe Mama's Kitchen. I will go ahead and put that in the description box below. Her channel is now Jordan Danielle. She shows you how to boil the chicken and then also shred it up. And so I seasoned it with Kinder's taco seasoning, but her video explains how to shred it, and it's super, super simple and it's easy to cook. You don't have to go through hours and hours. It was really simple. So these are all the ingredients that I used. Again, I'm gonna put her video in the description box below so you can see how she did the chicken. I lost some footage, I don't know how. I think I accidentally left my camera rolling. So let me explain what that is. That is 2 cans of cream of chicken soup and a half a container of the sour cream mixed. I put aside some in a bowl. I'd say over half in that little extra bowl, and then I put the rest in the chicken. Now, you do not have to put it in the chicken. It kind of made the chicken a little bit soft, but my husband had some dental work done, and so I wanted to make it as soft as I could for him, so I went ahead and added part of that mixture to my chicken. But you can just use the shredded chicken, and then you add the sauce with the cream of chicken soup and the sour cream, and you kind of just I put about a tablespoon, spread it over the chicken, and then I just take some shredded cheese and sprinkle that over the top. Now, another thing you can do, which I have in my recipe, is you add chopped green chilies to this, but my family does not really care for those, so I left those out of the mix. And then I'm using this guacamole salsa and I'm adding a few drizzles inside just to give it some flavor. The chicken has a lot of flavor already, but this just helps a little bit. And then you're gonna fold it burrito style. I always fold one flap up, and then I fold the sides in, and then I just kind of roll it over. Now, I tend to overfill my burritos a little bit, but I'm okay with that if some of the stuff comes out. And I didn't show you because I lost footage, but my pan is ready to the side over there. And all I did was take some of the enchilada sauce and pour it until the bottom of the pan was covered, but not like super full, just like enough just to cover it. You take your burritos as you make them and you go ahead and you put those into the pan that the sauce is on the bottom. As you can see, I still have a partial jar of sauce in the background, and that's what I'm gonna put over the top of the burritos. So I'm just gonna continue making these burritos so we can get them folded and ready to go in the oven. The oven should be 350 degrees to bake these on, and you will bake them uncovered. So I'm just gonna continue to get these burritos done. When folding the burrito, you want to kind of just tuck in the sides with the tortilla. I do one fold up and then I tuck in those sides and kind of mash it in there and then roll it closed. So even if they're a little full, that's okay. You can put less filling in there if you like. Okay, so this pan is done, and as you can see, this is a pretty good size pan, and I think it's a 13 by 9 inch. But I went ahead and did another side dish, put some enchilada sauce on the bottom, and I fit 3 more burritos in there, and that just about used up all my mix. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this leftover enchilada sauce and I'm going to pour it over the top of the 4 enchiladas. Now, I don't have enough sauce for both bowls, but that's okay because my daughter doesn't care for the green enchilada sauce too much. So as long as I have it just on the bottom of the pan, the other pan I decided to make a little bit different, and I will show you an alternative. Now we're just going to coat this in cheese. And you can put as little or as much as you like. This is just a Mexican blend of cheese I have. You can use jalapeno cheese. You can use whatever you want. But I went ahead and topped those off. And I do end up covering them until I'm ready to bake them. But here's the other 3. You can see there's a little bit of enchilada sauce on the bottom. And here is the alternative. Take the rest of your cream of chicken mixture and you just kind of rub it over the top of each of the burritos, and then that just gives them a little bit of a topping and a sauce just to give them a good flavor and so that they don't dry out. And then I'm just going to put a few little drizzles of this guacamole salsa on top just for some flavor, and then we will also do the same thing and we will top this with some shredded cheese. And these bad boys are ready for the oven. My oven is preheated. Now, like I said, I went ahead and I put these to the side until it was time to cook. So you see me throw a lid on top of my pan, but you are not going to cook these covered. You're going to cook these uncovered in a 350 degree oven for approximately 20 minutes. I found that I liked them in there for 30 minutes better, so it's just a preference. Start checking at 20 and then you can keep adding 5 minutes on. I like them a little bit, I like to make sure my cheese is melted and that the burritos are nice and warm inside. So like I said, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes on 350 degrees, and then just, like I said, keep checking them until they are where you want them to be. Tell me, which method do you like better? Do you like it with the enchilada sauce, or do you think you would like it better with the creamy mixture on top? Just curious. You can see I took these out of the oven. They're still sizzling. They were so good. And I served them with some refried beans. Again, I lost this footage, but I had never seen refried beans in a pan like this. but you just stuck it in the microwave in this bag, and then you put it in the serving dish, and then I threw some cheese, and I always throw a little bit of water because I like my beans a little thinner. They are still thick when I serve this up, but I'm going to show you what these burritos look like. I just take as I was saying before I got interrupted by a phone call. I take a spatula to get these out, and I did let them set up for about 5 minutes or so, cool down, not a lot, just a little bit, just enough to where I would be able to pull the burritos out of the pan. So I start with one edge, and they are very big, so I probably didn't pick the best spatula to get them out and make them look beautiful, but it's all going in my stomach. So I did cut it in half because they were large. Actually, I did not cut it in half. I thought I did, but I didn't. So there's the burrito on the pan. But like I said, it's enchilada style, so it's wet. It's not like a burrito that you pick up with your hands. So I put all the yummies to the side, and then we're going to scoop some beans and get this plate ready to go. I'd mix some cheese with the beans, so I go ahead and put those on the plate. These are a little thick for me. Like I said, you can add some warm water to them and mix them up. Or a client of mine told me that you can add milk to refried beans, and that's typically what they do in the restaurants. But I did not do that for this video. I did it afterwards. But here are the burritos. They are so yummy and easy to make, and this dinner was delicious. It was probably one of the easiest dinners I'd made. So I really like how these turned out. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. These are easy recipes, and these are really fun things that I like to do. If you like cooking, baking, cake decorating, DIYs, and shopping hauls, this is the channel for you. I do all of them, a jack of all trades, master of none. And so thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you have not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell to be notified every time I download a video. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. God bless.